Hello, this is my cook's Mr. Bill. Honored to have you here. Just want to show you, if you can see them, I don't know how well you'll be able to see them. Got a lot of grapes hanging out here on the tree. I tell you what, these little guys are a godsend, seedless grapes. So we're having a good year, even though we've had a couple storms come through and hit us with a little bit of hail. It did punch a few holes in some of the leaves, especially in the squash, but they'll recover. They'll recover. But you're here for a story. Okay. When I went down to Omaha to my daughter's wedding, the day of the wedding it was kind of boring, not much to do until 5 o'clock for the wedding. And so they took me to a store. And that store was called Bass Pro Shop. Kind of a fancy Cabela's, if you will. Big fancy building. Always get nervous at them because that's a good indication those buildings that big and fancy, somebody's got to pay for them. And the reason and how they pay for them is because the products are a tad bit overpriced, I said. For example, I walked by a one end cap, and there was fishing rods there, just rod. So I just picked one up for the heck of it and flipped the price over, and it was $449 for just a rod. $449 for a fishing rod. Didn't have a reel with it, just a rod. That kind of shocked me, to say the least. You see, I got this fishing rod and reel, the whole thing, including string, works just fine. I paid $1 for it at a yard sale. $1 at a yard sale, rather than paying $449 for one rod at a store. And that didn't count, you'd be paying sales tax on top of that. So some serious money, to say the least, for nothing but a fishing rod. Well, as I was walking on, I noticed there was a man, as I walked by the ammunition line department, and making small talk. I just simply said, as I walked by, I said, boy, there ain't much ammunition left, as the shelves were pretty bare. And he said, yeah, but he said, I already got mine. He said, I got 15,000 rounds of ammunition stocked up, stockpiled, if you will. And I said, yeah, that's quite a bit. And he said, it's more than you got. And I said, well, I didn't know we was competing. But I said, you understand that's a scam. And it ain't the first one. In '73, the experts said we're going to be out of gasoline. In 20 years, there'll be no gas, no oil. And they doubled the price in gas because of that. They said we got to slow the use down by doubling the price. Well, a lot of people got rich, and a lot of the rest of us had to live on less because of that high-priced gasoline. But unlike gasoline, we kind of got to have that. Well, we don't have to have guns, and we sure don't have to have the ammunition that they're talking about. Because there are options. And he said, what's that? And I said, well, walk over here with me. Walked over there, and I picked up a container of pellets for a pellet rifle. And I said, look at all the pellets here. Just, you know, boatloads of pellets. All you could want. And I said, here's a container, 500 rounds, and it was $10.99. Basically 2 cents a piece for pellets. And this is a heavier grade pellet. That's what I use too. It's an 8.3 grain pellet. I kind of like it better. It shoots good in my pellet rifle. But needless to say, that's one option. Rather than to spend, what, $20 or $30 plus for one box of 20 high-powered rifle shells? You know, come on, guys. Do some thinking. If all you're going to do is plink. And never forget, 9 out of every 10 shots that are fired in the world today, 9 out of every 10 are shot at targets. So you don't need an elephant gun to shoot at targets. And he said, well, a pellet gun ain't accurate. And I said, really? And I pointed to the type of gun that I own here. It's just a little Ruger. And it isn't one of the high velocity ones. It's just 500 feet per second. But yet it'll still rattle the cage without question. Nice little pellet rifle. Lightweight. And of course you just break it down and put your pellet in there. It's a single shot and it's ready to go. And for accuracy, what do you think? he was making fun of me then, and he said, that gun won't protect you. All that'd do is just make somebody mad at you if you shot them. If you shot them with a pellet gun, you just make them mad. They'd come over and beat the soup out of you. And I said, you got a great point, if I was going to use one for self-defense. But I think that my ability to talk my way out of trouble is the first weapon I should use, don't you? And if by chance talking dries up and you literally have to fight for your life, I assure you that pellet rifle can shoot accurate enough to shoot someone in the eye within 50 feet. And if you shoot somebody in the eye with a pellet rifle, the war is over. The war is over. And if you think it's just a pellet rifle, never forget a BB gun is deadly accurate too. And then he poo-pooed that real quick too. And I said, no, you misunderstand. A pellet rifle or a BB gun, the manufacturers of those tools did not make them and spend thousands upon thousands of dollars and years perfecting them to make an inaccurate gun. Any pellet gun and any BB gun out there, excluding a few lemons, those guns can shoot better than you can hold them. This is McCook's Mr. Bill saying there are options out there, and if you want to save some money or if you need to save some money and still enjoy the sporting of shooting or fishing, the options are for the poor man. There are options, and I hope you consider them. Rate this film.